Here's the question. Is there a better way to reheat coffee? I get this question a lot. A lot. People want to know, I've let my coffee go cold. What should I do? Should I microwave it? Should I put it on the stove? What's the answer here? I have no idea. I've historically just given them the kind of party line of don't reheat your coffee. It makes it taste bad. And I know that is true. I know that if you get like a jug of coffee and you leave it on a hot plate for half an hour, it tastes much worse. But I honestly don't know if there's a way of reheating coffee that tastes better. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to brew a big batch of coffee. I'm going to split it into 5 different samples. 2 of them, we're going to try and maintain the temperature throughout using different ways. 3 of them, we're going to let them go cold and then we're going to reheat them. And at the end of all of that, I'll do a blind tasting and see if one of them tastes better than the others. First things first, I need about 1 litre of coffee. I'm going to have to brew a bit more than 1 litre of coffee because I need 1 litre of finished coffee and I'll lose some to the ground. So I'm going to brew about 1.2 litres. I don't have a brewer that does that, so I'm going to have to brew twice and I'll blend them together so that we have one consistent beginning brew for our testing. Let me get on with that. And hey, I get it. I am forgetful. I leave my coffee lying around all the time. Cold coffee, when you want a hot coffee, is a wildly disappointing thing. So I get the urge to reheat it. I generally don't, but I always have coffee available. And should I really be telling people just to throw it away and make it again? I'm kind of hoping for an interesting result here, but who knows? Now, as I said, I don't have a big brewer, so I'm going to have to brew 2 batches, which means this goes in here and I brew as fast as I can. I know it's not ideal to brew twice and have it sit around, or half of it sit around, but it shouldn't invalidate the testing. Let's brew again. All right, second brew. Took me about 5 minutes to turn it around, a little bit less. So that's good. Now, here I've got 5 bowls. They've each got a number on the bottom to correspond to the way we're going to heat them or reheat them or whatever we're going to do, but that way I can't see what they are later on in the blind tasting. I'm going to take 3 of those bowls and fill them with 200 grams of liquid and put them aside to go cold. Now, for the other 2, we're not going to use the bowls yet because this coffee is going to go into 2 little vessels. First up, the Ember mug. If you don't know the Ember mug, I'll stick a link to a video up here. You can learn a bit more about it. It is expensive. It is a smart mug that requires firmware updates. It is able to keep your coffee at a perfect temperature for minutes on end. It is completely ridiculous, and worst of all, I love it. It's great. It's really nice to have a cup of coffee just held at the right kind of temperature so that when you go away and get distracted and come back, oh, it's just a moment of delight to find your coffee perfectly drinkable. I hate myself for how much I like this, but it is great. Now I've set this a little bit hotter than I would usually because I want to be able to sort of transfer it into the bowl to a kind of nice drinking temperature. So I'm going to hold it at around 60 degrees Celsius. My preferred drinking temperature is more like 54, should you want to know those things. It's now powered up and ready to go, so I'll put 200 grams in. And this should hold its temperature for the next 30 minutes. And then we got this thing. This is a classic little thermos. I've had this one a long time. It's pretty dinged up, but it's an old technology. It's been around a good long while, but we know it works. And so now we wait for 30 minutes, then we do some reheating, and then we do some tasting. What I'll do now is just have a quick taste of the last little bit left over, just to see what it was like fresh. I won't have this as a benchmark later on, but interesting nonetheless. So now that we've waited 30 minutes, and these are all below body temperature now, they're all pretty cool. This room's quite cool actually, now that it's winter. I need to work quite quickly to reheat each of these 3 in a different way. And we're going to use 2 pretty classic methods and 1 kind of wild card in all this. So first up, for this one here, we are going to reheat this with a stove. We're going to put it in a pan, heat it back up, probably around 70, 75. Obviously, we're not going to bring this to a boil. That would definitely be bad. But I feel like 75, 80, that's hot. It's too hot to drink again, but a kind of realistic way that many people would probably reheat their coffee. Done. It's the trusty microwave. Now, a lot of people have weird anti-microwave issues. There's all sorts of it ruins the nutrients in your food nonsense. If you are on that bandwagon, I'm open to a peer-reviewed study. But for now, we're just going to use this to reheat our coffee. just give you, I don't know, 30 seconds. Perfect. Hot, 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 hot. Onwards. This last one's kind of a wild card. I'm going to use a steam wand to steam it hot again. Now that is going to cause one small issue, which is it's going to dilute this a little bit more. When you steam milk, you'll generally add about 10% weight to the milk by steaming it from just the condensed steam. Let's see what happens. This might be a problem for the blind tasting. It's a little bit foamy, but those bubbles should disappear. Maybe we'll skim them off, but now we've got obviously more coffee than we started with. So not too much more actually, that's kind of interesting. And then back to the beginning, we have our ember mug, which has held it at around 57, 60 degrees Celsius. I'm going to decant this in as neatly as I can. Got our friendly thermos. And our 3 other bowls, one of which will need a little bit of preparation. Just to make it look normal. I'll skim that with some cupping spoon. Hopefully the last few just disappeared away. So time for our blind tasting. I'm going to go away. Michael's going to come in and switch the bowls around, so I don't know what's what. They should be similar temperatures, I presume. Now, while I do that, I'm going to go and tell you about our sponsor for this video. And having a sponsor means that there's a giveaway. There's a grinder giveaway. I'm giving away 5 Baratza grinders, 5 Baratza Encores to anyone who needs a grinder and can't afford one in any of the 39 countries that we can ship to. Life is tough right now, and I hope I can make 5 people's day a little bit better. And this is possible thanks to this video's sponsor that I'll tell you about right now, which is Surfshark. Surfshark is a fast, easy to use VPN service. They have apps for every platform, and actually they let you install it on unlimited devices with your account. That, I think, is a super cool feature. Now, VPNs day to day are useful for a couple of things. Firstly, it lets you access geo-restricted content. If you're in the UK, you get a different menu on Netflix than you do in the US, and sometimes you want to watch a show that isn't available to you straight away. Or if I was traveling, I could be watching BBC iPlayer from anywhere in the world. Beyond that, a VPN offers you an extra layer of privacy online and also helps out preventing retailers offering you higher prices based on your location. It lets you shop around for the cheapest possible prices. If you want to check it out, Surfshark are offering you a deal. It's 84% off and 4 extra months free if you head to surfshark.deal/James Hoffmann and use discount code James Hoffmann. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. It is tasting time. I don't know what I've got here, but I'm curious. Now, the theory would be that the hotter you hold coffee, the more it's going to degrade. The hotter you make coffee, the more it's going to degrade. You know, that's why if you hold coffee in a glass pot on a heater at 90 degrees Celsius, you cook it and it tastes terrible. Can the ember get away with holding it at a lower temperature? Does the thermos work because it's not pulling heat out the same way, or rather than there's no additional heat being kind of put in? I don't know. Let's see if there's any difference in taste between all of these. Okay, I'm going to immediately rule one out because it just tastes weird. It's got this introduction of this whole other kind of weird tastes that kind of reminds me of papery caramel. And I know that doesn't sound entirely awful, but it's definitely weird and wrong. It's got this artificial sweetness that's just very confusing. That's just really weird. That's really weird. I'm just going to say you're out for now. You're not the best one here. This is difficult. We're into nuance here. I really thought the differences would be more pronounced. I think I'm going to kick this one out for being a bit more harsh and kind of bitter. All right, I'm also, just on kind of bitterness alone, I think you're out. I'm so nervous about what I'm picking. You know, what if I endorse heating it on a pot, on a stove? Okay, I'm going to kick that one, I think. This is very stressful. You know, what if this is something ridiculous? Oh, interesting. The winner was number 1, which I think was the ember mug. So that's spent the least time being hot. You know, like it was held at 60 degrees Celsius, was never heated above that, sort of cooled to that temperature and sat there. And it just had a little bit less bitterness and a little bit less harshness than the other cups here. This one here, number 5. Oh. wait, number 5 was the steam wand. This is a little bit embarrassing. At the end of the edit of this video, we realized that I had made a massive mistake. I'd managed to switch around the labels underneath the bowls for the 3 reheated brews. Thankfully, we captured the mixing up of the bowls on video and were able to work out what was what. I'll just give you a quick summary now of the truth of all of this thing, because if you listen to me talk about which one is which, I get it all wrong. And I'm pretty confused, but I get it all wrong. What on earth were you? Number 3. Let me tell you the ranking of the reheating. Last place, steaming it. It had this really funny taste. I described it as kind of a papery caramel. It just tasted a bit odd. It might have been the residual water from the steam boiler, I don't know, but it just wasn't good tasting. Second place of the reheating methods was the hob. I described it as being a little bit more bitter than the others, and that wasn't good either. In fact, the best of the reheating turned out to be the microwave. I'll speculate now that it was done that way because I pulsed it in 2 or 3 sort of small heating sessions up to just the right temperature. It never got overheated, and it was a gentle heating method. So, of the reheating methods, in my experience, in truth, the microwave did a little bit better than the others. The ultimate conclusion of the video is still correct, and so for that, I'll hand you back to past me to explain. This was not an exhaustive scientific test, but it was pretty interesting, and the differences are not as big as I expected, but they are definitely there. A thermos isn't a bad choice, but ultimately holding coffee at a cooler temperature, at a drinking temperature, seems to preserve its taste better. Now, unfortunately, this does continue the narrative of my coffee went cold, how should I heat it back up? The answer mostly being don't, but mostly if you can, don't let it go cold. Drink it warm, keep it warm. A thermos is a good way to go. Something that holds it a little bit cooler is maybe a way to go. Now, one of my issues with thermoses is that they do keep the coffee almost too hot to drink. I get annoyed if I'm, half an hour from home and I still can't drink my coffee. So I often brew onto an ice cube or two. That might be scandalous, I don't know, but it works for me. It's easy, it brings it down to a nice drinking temperature and it holds it there. So again, might be a good way to go for you. There are more and more thermos-style cups available on the market. I think about the one from Fellow off the top of my head that springs to mind. But there are others available too. But interestingly, the Ember performed really well. An interesting test. I would say hold your coffee at drinking temperature and no hotter. That's the learning from today, I think. But I'd love to hear from you. Did you replicate this? Could you replicate this? I'd love to hear if you found another way of reheating coffee that works better than all of these. Let us know down in the comments below. But for now, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.